Hi, thanks for tuning in to Turn to the Stars. My name is Andrea Clem, and I am an astrological counselor and a shamanic practitioner from the local Manchester area. And today on Turn to the Stars, I'm going to be talking about December 2013, doing an overview planetarily, astrologically, energetically, and I want to remind everybody during this season and with the incredible amount of change that we're feeling in our lives daily on so many levels that we need to all do what we can about what we can, because I was just having this discussion this morning, and I've been having it just about every day with clients due to the way the planets are talking to get each other, so to speak, and the way this energy is influencing us here on Earth. It's sort of like we're shedding our skin from a lot of old things, and we are in such a place of change on so many levels that there's a lot of static. There's a lot of trying to figure out how to manage this. And so I'm going to talk about that during today's show. But first, I want to tell you about an event that is going on at Turn to the Stars, and that's right after the holidays are over and we're into the year of 2014. And that is about the Psychic Holistic Fair, which you see on your screen. This is our 22nd bi-monthly Holistic Psychic Fair at Turn to the Stars, and the theme of this fair is a Together We Shine event, and it is going to be occurring on Saturday, January 18th, 2014. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Yard Seafood and Steakhouse here in Manchester, New Hampshire. And we have 13 different types of readings, psychic, holistic, healing, astrology. You can see it all on that readings offered there on the screen, the different types that are offered. We have everything from astrology readings to mediumship to psychic readings, angel cards, chakra, fairy, psychic, animal communication, spirit channeled handwritten messages, psychic medium with a shamanic approach. We have a wise woman shamanic reading, intuitive sacred tarot, palmistry, auragram, animal spirit messages, and we have a guest author whose name is Peg Jones, and she's coming up from Massachusetts, and she has a book which is called Living in the Heart Place with Your Angels. And she's going to be offering a free lecture and book signing. And you can see her website there right on the screen. But we hope that you'll mark your calendar for January 18th. A great thing to do in the new year. And a great way to put some light in your life and get some sense of guidance for the new year. So we look forward to seeing you there. And coming back to talk about December 2013. Today is December 17th, or 18th, I'm sorry, Wednesday, December 18th. And I have a chart which I want to show you, which is displaying where the planets are and how they're talking to each other. Just recently, 2 days ago, we had the full moon, and the influence of that energy put us all feeling like we were kind of like, in a black hole that is we're trying to look and find our way out of, and that feeling would have been really real, because the sun at 25 degrees, which we can see over on the left hand side of this astrology chart for today, 25 degrees of Sag, is right really at the center of the galactic or the black hole of the Milky Way. So that full moon, the sun reflecting its light on the moon, did raise our awareness to that that there's so much shifting and change going on, and it does really remind us of the great change that we are experiencing all around us right now, and not to lose sight of our overall goals, and that together, if we can stick together during these times, that we will shine. And separate, if we're separate, we're weak. This is a mutable energy that you're seeing between that full moon and the sun, and actually the chart you're seeing up on the screen there, I think, is actually the chart of the full moon. And I think this was, this is December 17th, the chart you're looking at. And this is the full moon, and it did exactly what I told you, just a couple minutes ago. It reminded us that we really do need to stick together, that there is this mutable energy which is very, very strong around us, meaning that we can wiggle and we can fit into any little space, but the challenge really is to really adapt, but also to come together, to work together, and to keep looking forward, to remind us that not to lose sight of our goals, and that it would have brought to the forefront of our lives the old patterns. We get stuck in, or we go through things in our lives, and this full moon really did bring up memory of old patterns. And my point in showing you that chart is that full moon energy was reminding us not to go backwards and to those old patterns, but to look ahead and to remember what our goals are. And I have seen people mutating to their old patterns, or to their old ways, because it's comfortable. And so I do want to remind everyone that keep looking ahead, keep sight of what your goals are, and add light to anything. Add light to anything that you can along the way. Add positivity, because it is going to make a difference. And the next chart I want to show you is one of December 18th. And that is the chart you're seeing on the screen, and that is the chart for today. And that chart is showing what looks like a cross. You can see there's two red lines forming a cross that are right down the middle of this chart, and it's something we call a cardinal cross, and it is showing us that we are in a place of tremendous change personally. We are in a place emotionally of change with our families and with the people in our lives. Actively in the relationships in our lives, we're in a place of change. And in a very powerful place, government, and all the way down from the most powerful places, or the people that are in control. There's a lot of challenge all around us. And so together we're trying to figure this out. And you see many people, people are acting for themselves, and yet on the same time you're saying, wait a minute, we're here all together, but you continuously see this type of activity going on. So I just wanted to remind everyone that if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling pulled in many different directions, it's a difficult path to be walking on, and we are all walking on this path together. So the challenges are very real, but also if you can somehow in your mind's eye keep sight of what's ahead and what our goal is, which is to move through this time of change with some sense of grace and ease. And it's easy to say, but do what you can about what you can. That's one of my most the things that I say a lot is do what you can about what you can, without getting into problems with other people. And if you do run into those problems, then, sometimes the only thing you can do, if you can't fix it, is just hold the light and hope and pray that, you're going to manage these pieces in the best way that you can. And that's all you can do. So some of the highlights this month were at the very beginning of December was a new moon that occurred on December 2nd in Sagittarius, and that did paint a picture energetically in our lives of hope, faith, and inspiring us to search for understanding of new directions that were being shown to us. So the wind was at our back. It was inspiring us to look ahead. There was a certain excitement about this month. And that new moon did remind us of the importance of honoring our physical and our emotional well-being. Very, very important. It inspired us to see the truth. So now we can feel the push, as I said before, of the wind at our backs as it pushes us forward. So it really does encourage us to really, look forward, encourages us to move with these shifts and maneuver past any old barriers. And the next astrological event that we had in December, which occurred around December 5th with Mercury moving into Sagittarius, and we had from about the 5th till about the 10th, communication seemed to be upside down. Confusion, a lot of things were changing, one right after the other. So just when you thought you had your schedule under control, it all changed. So then the next astrological event that we experienced was right around December, this is like tomorrow, December 19th. Mars, the planet that motivates us, is moving, actually that was December 10th. I don't have my glasses on. That's when Mars moved into Libra. It's currently at about 4 degrees. And Mars in Libra encourages us in our outward activities to be more socially involved with people. So there is that certain push or drive to, get out there and meet and talk to people and stay connected. So it also does inspire this consistent balancing act. Libra is all about balance. It's all about finding peace and harmony. And because it is involved in this cardinal cross that is showing up in with the planets around us, it is encouraging us to take action to keep the peace, take action to negotiate things, take action to work things out. And so there's this constant weighing back and forth going on. And you can certainly see that there is a lot of emotion attached to all this movement right now, and that is because of, in one of the charts that I talked about just a couple minutes ago on December 18th, which is today, there's this grand trine in water, which means that there is a lot of emotion, there is a lot of compassion, which is a great thing. Everybody is inspired to do what they can, because they're driven by emotion, but also, that grand trine in water can really push people to get lost in emotion, and so we got to do our best to try and stay away from those old patterns and actively help each other to move forward. And so Mars does remain in Libra until July 25th of 2014, and it is a long transit because there is going to be a retrograde or a backward, so to speak, motion appearing to us here on Earth. So from around the end of December through March of 2014, we need to pay extra attention to what we decide to take action on, especially in the area of our relationships. Why? Because, as I said before, between March and May, those particular areas of your life where you take action on in relationships, or what you decide to take action on, will be exactly what you're actively going back over between March and May. You know the old saying, actions speak louder than words? So when it comes to relationships, actions will speak very loudly as Mars is on its transit through Libra. And December through March is forward movement in relationships, and March through May is a time we review these actions, and May through July 19th will have us moving forward with more harmony and balance in relationships that are in our lives. So December, is being that it is the 9th sign of the zodiac, marks an opening of a door for old matters. And you heard me saying this before, to be packaged up and moved out of the way. However, when they come up, these old matters, we need to look at them and consider what's unfinished. And then actively finish those things that are up, in the forefront, and prepare our environment. Prepare the things around us to open in a new direction. So it's an active creative time of balancing things out, clearing out the old, whether it's people, places, or things. And the theme of the number 9 sets this important pace as you make room for new people, new places, and things that are coming into your life in 2014. So there's this active movement of looking at what's really has no more value to it, and sort of sorting things out and talking about these things, and in our relationships, taking action to balance things out, to put things in a better place. So as December progresses forward which we were talking about the whole month of December, the full moon, which occurred a couple days ago, did bring us to a full awareness to the magic of connecting with others to share our stories and our experiences. And exactly on December 17th, I have a chart I want to put up on the screen of that's the full moon, and you can see down on the bottom where there's a blue arrow, Uranus, the planet of electricity, of change, of erratic, unusual, crazy things happening, has woken up, so to speak, from what appeared to us here on Earth as being in a backward motion. So at the same time of the full moon, the planet Uranus woke up, and its energy is now moving forward as it appears to us on Earth. And so it's driving us to step forward with all the changes that we've been experiencing internally. So travel becomes more of a major factor from the winds of these change as the Sagittarius sun shines the light onto the shifts that are happening. And certainly that full moon that we experienced earlier this week is still, the emotions attached to it are still settling. And it sort of brings forth, as you see in the picture behind me, a picture of frost covers trees against winter skies. And that's actually a symbol that we use, the Sabian symbols in astrology. And the Sabian symbol for the degrees of this full moon encourages us to let go of what is non-essential so that we can fully embrace our truth. So this full moon that we had this past week did remind us that our only security is our ability to go with the flow and make the necessary changes in our life as needed. That full moon was 25 Gemini, and the sun, as you heard me say before, was at 25 Sag, which is very close to that black hole at the center of the Milky Way. And it did bring an incredible vibration, an enormous amount of electromagnetic energy. So this means that that full moon was really releasing, helping us to become aware of, so that we could release old beliefs and realize what our individual purposes are moving forward. And at the same time, Mars begins to oppose Uranus. That's what we saw in that cardinal cross chart. So it does bring to the forefront of our lives an awareness of our differences. Awareness is what we want, what we don't want. It's an opposition which has the fortitude that can bring us to a place where we can negotiate and possibly cross roads of and make some decisions for our forward movement. So during the latter part of December, exactly December 21st, we all know it as the winter solstice, and that occurs exactly at 12:10 p.m. on December 21st here in Manchester, and it is the marker of the shortest day of the year, and it reminds us that we are on a climb back with a little bit more light, a little bit more daylight each day. So on December 21st, the winter solstice occurs, and then at 9:05 in the morning, the planet Venus turns retrograde. Well, it appears in that way to us here on Earth. From our perception standing here on Earth. And so what we see is this planet appearing to go backward to us, meaning that we look at it in that way. So it does bring us back to look at past associations of our love lives, our love relationships. Takes us back to revisit our financial areas of our life, and it can even pull at our heartstrings. So it helps us to shift many aspects of our life, pushing us to see that it's time to tie up loose ends, especially as we go into 2014. And Venus retrograde, I believe that does last, I think it, I'm going to have to look that up. I thought I wrote that down, but Venus retrograde does start right on the winter solstice, and December 31st and January 1st does bring us a whole new shift and change as Mercury connects with Pluto on the last day of the year, opening up 2014 with the new moon, which connects the sun with Pluto, bringing in a major emphasis on transformation for everybody. Moving forward, the old, outdated ways, as we entered into 2014, does bring a great awareness of the structures around us, to the government, to the issues that we're trying to transition through. So this sets a completely new pace for us in 2014 to the events that are merging in front of us. And Venus retrograde does bring people from the past into our lives, and it really does help us to clarify ourselves, our purpose, and our direction. So just want to remind you about some of the influences of this cardinal cross as it continues to influence us in our day-to-day lives. It's going to bring right to the forefront of our lives on a daily basis reminders of what we like in our lives, what we want, awareness of ourselves, awareness of other people, awareness of our action, and it also is going to bring a huge awareness of the magic that is around us, and that restructuring of life has to happen. And it's almost like, here on Earth we have all these planets around us that are influencing different things, and a lot of that is challenging, but a lot of that is so important to our future of humanity. And it's very important that from our heart center that we understand that we have no choice but to change the way things are in order for us to evolve. This is a lot of what this cardinal cross is dictating to us. So do want to remind you that the wind is at our back with Sagittarius. It is a very optimistic sign, and it is one that reminds us to keep the faith, keep on searching for our answers, and that we do need to adapt and change, but it is a very positive thing if we can remember what our goals are. So just want to remind you one more time about January 18th, the Psychic Holistic Fair at the Yard, and invite you to come and visit us. I hope that you have wonderful holidays, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and I want to thank everyone for all your support of Turn to the Stars over 2013, and look forward to bringing in the new year of 2014 with you. Thanks again for watching Turn to the Stars. Take good care, and I'll see you next week.